Hey Redeemer, it's Aaron again. This is our last session before you guys arrive on Sunday. And as my wife and I were praying about this session and what we were to speak on, we actually felt like we were supposed to talk about um, just knowing God and just having an intimate fellowship or relationship with Him. And so actually, we felt like my wife was supposed to share this time, and so I'm actually going to video her now. And so this is my wife, Cassie.
Hey, how are you guys? It's good to meet you. I'm Cassie, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about Jesus and how much he loves us and how much spending time with him is incredible. And I really have learned that over the past 10 years of how amazing our relationship can be with God. Um, in the Bible, it talks a lot about relationship. And when God tries to illustrate relationship with us, he uses two relationships. He says, he calls us children. And so he's relating himself to a father. And then he also refers to us as the bride of Christ. And both of those relationships are very close, intimate relationships. They involve a lot of time spent, a lot of love, and if done right, they are amazing, absolutely amazing things. Done wrong, they're some of the worst relationships you could possibly have, but that's because love and the heart is involved in that. God says, that he is a good father, and he gives his children good things. And I don't know what the relationship all of you have with your father, but the things that God has for us are good, and his heart for us is good. And if you could think of the best possible parent that you've ever seen, maybe it's your own parent, or maybe it's just a parent you've seen from afar, or your friend's parent. Think of the best possible example, and then just think times 100 of how amazing. Think of the have you imagined someone to be who loved you so much, that fought for you continually, that laid down their life for you continually. And then you have a picture of what God thinks about you. And when he says he's a father, that's what he's thinking. And that's how he sees you. And for some of you, that may be hard to picture, and yet it's true. And God gives us imagination. So I know that he's put inside of you the ability to dream and believe in who he really is. And I just wanted to share a story with you, something that really helped me in my walk with God. One time I was sitting outside and I was talking to God, and I was really frustrated because I felt like I couldn't hear him very well. I felt like I didn't understand him, and I wanted to be able to relate to him as a father and as someone I loved, but honestly, I was struggling. And I was sitting outside and I was saying, God, I don't understand you. This is boring. I don't really want to be here right now. And yet you're supposed to be the most amazing person on the planet that I'm supposed to want to love and know and understand. And how do I connect with you? And I was just sitting out there like, God, and I was just actually crying. And God, I want to know you. I want to understand who you are. And and then I was away from my family at that time for about 3 months, and I I just kind of laid down and I started crying, and I said, God, I really need a hug right now. And you are not here physically to give me a hug. And you talk about this close relationship like father-daughter. And yet a father gives his daughter a hug like a good father. And I just started crying, and so then I got up and started walking back to my dorm room, and I noticed that this he was a speaker, he was a teacher for that week. He's a Christian guy, a pastor, and he had I noticed that his light was on, and he had just flown in from Wisconsin, so he was going to teach for that week in the school that I was in. And I knew him. He is the one who had encouraged me in my walk with God. And it was about 9:30 at night, and I was like, God, he's asleep. I'm not. And God's like, go knock on the door. I mean, I just felt it in my heart. Go knock on the door. No, I'm not going to do that. And God said, go knock on the door. And so I just kind of tiptoed up to the door, and I gave it a little knock, and then I was going to like walk away. And he opened up the door, and he was so excited to see me, and he said, hi, how are you? Come on in. And he was so excited. And then he saw that I had been crying. And he stopped, and he's like, Cassandra, I just need to give you a hug right now. He said, I don't know why, I don't normally do that with young girls, but for some reason, I just feel in my heart that I'm supposed to give you a hug right now. And, of course, I just started crying because that is exactly what I just told God 5 minutes before. And this guy didn't know that at all. This pastor didn't know that, but God knew that. And then he said, you want to have some ice cream? And then I started crying harder, of course, because ice cream and my dad, we always used to go out for ice cream together. And so I just felt like God was speaking to me. I am your father. I know who you are. I love you. I know your wants and your desires and your needs, and I want to spend time with you. And it was amazing to me how intimate and close that relationship was and is and felt. And man, I could tell you story after story after story of God being that in my life and learning to relate to God in that close way. And I just really want to encourage you to seek God, look for Him, and ask Him to show Himself to you in that special way, because He totally will. So thanks for listening.
That was my hot wife. Speaking of intimacy. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, thanks Cassie for sharing that. And so yeah, just think about how you can be real with Jesus and draw closer to Him in your relationship, with Him as you guys are entering in Memphis. And ministry, doing things for God, it comes out of a relationship with God, and it comes out of intimacy with Him. And so that's the most effective ministry. So we'll be having quiet times this week, and we'll talk some more about that, what that is. And but yeah, we'll see you guys here in a couple of days, and I hope you have a safe trip. God bless. Bye-bye.